fields are breathing slow. There's a mother calling softly for the child she came to know. We took her milk, we took her baby, called it custom, called it need. But the earth remembers every bond we break to feed our greed. Bring the cows back to their mothers, bring the milk back to the young. Let no baby be taken before their life's begun. Bring them home.
I am going to bring up Dr. Rupa Shah. Thank you, Dr. Shah, for being here today. I'm just going to say a few words about Dr. Shah. So Dr. Rupa Shah is the founder and director of Circle of Health, which was established in December of 2014. She's based in Mumbai and has been healing patients for the past 35 plus years. She's also studied lifestyle medicine from Harvard Medical School in Boston. She's a contributor to, if you look on the resources, we have a book called The Milk of Human Kindness that we did for this project. And Dr. Rupa has very incredible, extensive recipes that she turned a lot of Indian recipes that were very much based in dairy products into plant-based options, which probably taste much better. She is a specialist in healing diabetes, in women's health, and many, many more things. So it is such an honor to have you here, Dr. Rupa. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste from India. I
Namaste.
met many of you in Toronto last time when I came first time for such an event. And thank you very much for giving me an opportunity today to speak and share our story from India. I will just share my PowerPoint. The topic that I have chosen is Ahimsa on the plate, our dinner plate basically. And since I've been plant-based for 17 plus years now, and so I have been by birth vegetarian, and so that is lacto-vegetarian. And then about 17 plus years ago, I heard for the first time something about dairy, and I decided to do a 30-day experiment, and I tried it. And then I used to suffer from migraine headaches for almost 18 years, very bad ones. All those headaches completely disappeared in the first month itself. And I got very overwhelmed by this. I never expected, I didn't know what it was. Just giving up dairy because I thought it was extreme, extreme diet if you give up dairy. But just gave it up, and then after that I was a complete convert. I said, what's wrong with dairy? So that time we didn't have much information, internet was not so fast, few books available, but whatever I could learn about it, what's wrong with dairy. So it's been there since my journey started. I was very fortunate to read Dr. Will Tuttle's book right then in the first 3 months of it, and from why become 95% plant-based. No, after reading the book it was 100%, no doubt about it. And so it's a beautiful journey, and many things have happened at the deeper level of consciousness. One of the biggest ones that just I want to share is that I also practice meditation for many years, maybe 40 years now. And the kind of calmness, clarity, and peace that I felt after going vegan is something I cannot forget. It's just, I cannot forget. It is so, so clear that even I did not feel this kind of 24/7 state of being through meditation. It was only when I changed the diet, the clarity in my consciousness was incredible. And it has been that calmness has remained all these years. I can see the difference. No stress, very peaceful, very clear. So that's my journey where I started. My country has the largest lacto-vegetarian population in the world, about 39. And even the meat consumption is very low, very, very low per annum, per person. It's because the country is a developing country. We are not very rich yet, and so meat, eggs, fish, they are expensive. So poor people cannot afford them. So they will have by default predominantly plant-based diet. And of course, but now there is a comfortable middle class that can afford dairy, and our love for dairy is very big. So we consume a lot more dairy than anywhere in the world, and that has got a lot to do with our history. And then the history is, you can see there are cows here, and these, the cow that has some little bit of projection on their back, and that is our country deshi cow, we call it as. And this was the cow that was in use for all these years for getting the milk, and not the buffaloes. Or and there are many kinds of deshi cow. Just quickly I want to mention that even Lord Shiva was a very compassionate, and Pashupati is his name. Pashu means animals, and Pati means protector. So he himself was the protector of all animals, and he was, guarding them, loving them at all costs. That's first message from Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu, of course, is another name of Krishna, and Krishna and cow connection is extremely strong in our scriptures, the story. But Krishna took birth uh, not to exploit the cows, but to restore the love and empathy to for the cows. And that's why he's one of the name is Gopal, means protector of the cow. And he took birth because he wanted to change the practices that were there at that time, and once again, become one with the cow. Then goddess Lakshmi also for nurturing energy, very much associated with compassion. You can see the elephants behind, that's her animal. And then we have Parvati. So she's called as Annapurna, and she's also full of, we call it as motherly nature and compassion. And she's a symbol of unconditional love and ahimsa. Then finally, of course, Lord Buddha came with a very strong message of ahimsa and karuna for all beings. And he always kept speaking about non-violence. In his, he also said that just it should not be just in your food, but it should be in your action, in your thought, and also in your speech. And then, of course, we have Jains, the Lord Mahavir. I'm myself also a Jain, and he gave this word, ahimsa parmo dharma, means it's our highest dharma, the really our duty. And the Jains really are supposed to be the foremost here in India practicing ahimsa. And there's this particular symbol that they have given, saying that we all beings are, dependent on each other. And if we don't understand this, if we, whatever we do to them will return to us. If we harm them, the harm will come back to us. So just become one with all beings on this planet and identify them as yourself. Just today's Times of India had this beautiful picture of Mahatma Gandhi and a wonderful article on animals. So the greatness of a nation is measured by how its animals are treated. So just go and see where the maximum number of animals are treated. That country is also more into violence. So Mahatma Gandhi once again popularized the word ahimsa in the last century. Then we have also many of our rishis. Dr. Jayanti mentioned about yoga, and there in the Yoga Sutras, the Yama, one of the rule is the ahimsa. You have to practice non-violence. Uh, when you become harmless in your life, the rest of the universe also responds exactly the same way. And then Adi Sankaracharya, the Sanatan Dharma, our religion, he also talked about non-duality and that we are all one. And then you see yourself in all beings. We also have so many rishis. They also have mentioned Rishi means our sages, So there are some names here: Vyasa, Valmiki, Yagnavalkya, and Kapila. They all also talked about compassion and non-violence. We also have Siddhas. The Siddhas are the people who are spiritually realized beings who are also practicing either a spiritual medicine, they call it as. And there are some names here: Agastya, Ramalinga, who was the greatest voices of Ahimsa, very strict vegetarian. Vegetarian means vegan actually, because that time a vegetarian word was used. And he even wrote some beautiful poems and promoted it just only about 200 years ago. And then we have other two names. So even in the recent times, this is Tamil tradition. Tamil is the more ancient language than even Sanskrit, and there also these siddhas are mentioning. So finally, across all these, this is all our Indian tradition, Indian knowledge. The summary: not hurting through thought, word, and action. So it's a much larger platform than just the veganism. Vegan would be animal welfare for animals, but Ahimsa is a much larger platform where you do not want to harm any part of the creation in your thought, word, or in your action. And you have a very deep sensitivity to all life. You don't even think of harming somebody. You don't even speak such language, and says that the same consciousness exists in all beings. Now, but our culture, we have like prasad. When you go to the temple, they give you some food, or you do puja, ceremonies, festivals. We always have these things, which have dairy products. So, I mean, that was the first thing that I have to gently say no, that, now I don't take. But refusing a prasad is not a good gesture, understood. And then Ayurveda uses a lot of ghee as a carrier of the various herbal medicine. So there's too much of ghee, and the cow ghee and very expensive ones, and like it's not easy to convince masses that you don't need even ghee, or you can take a, a replacement which is plant based with the same qualities. But it will take time. It's not easy. So now on our Indian platter, if you see, the dairy is everywhere. You just have to see in the vegetable, so they'll put little bit of ghee, or you have a bread, flat bread, then there is again ghee. In our curries also they'll put, sometimes on the rice, sometimes in the idli. I mean, everywhere it is there. Or there is yogurt. So there's like a lot of dairy. So right from the morning, you have chai, that is tea, Indian tea, milk in it. You go for lunch, again there's curd. You go for evening, again there's some sweets. So there's paneer, which is Indian cottage cheese. There's haldi doodh, which is again turmeric latte or milk. There's just milk everywhere, or some form of milk. Very difficult to look that whether it is having or not having. You have to keep asking. So, and then these are the some of the favorites, like curd rice in South India. You have buttermilk in Kutch, part of Gujarat. There is paneer in Punjab, and there is rasagulla in Bengal. Every state has something very supposed to be super tasty dairy product. So now here in our country, cow is called as mother, go mata. All the time they use this word, oh mata, she's our mother, she's our mother. And there are a lot of stories about it, and there are 33 deities that are residing in her body, and she's a very calm, quiet, gentle being, and her look into her eyes, and she's very loving. All those stories are there, a lot of things. And she has been made very sacred, and her cow dung, her urine, everything is taken as a sacred. But of course, now the reality is very different. The sacred narrative is all gone, one side, and the other side is this industrial extraction and too much of dairy production. Just yesterday, you heard Pooja that what our government wants to do now is to increase our milk production quite a bit. And They are freeing up the land for pasture and all sorts of practice because of the beef industry, which is giving revenues. So it's unfortunate, very unfortunate, but let's see, something good will come out of it. So it started in 1970, the White Revolution with Dr. Kurian, and then the milk cooperative started, and the farmer who had just one or two cow also could contribute his milk, and this cooperatives, became a very giant now, and are now, have such big units, and milk is packed well, and pasteurization, traveling long distances, converting into various products, and so many things are already available in the market with various brand names, and people are consuming them. So at some point it was said that India is the world's largest milk producer, and it's catching up fast, and remaining at this position. And our average consumption is about 355 gram per day in all these states. Some states are less, some are more, but the milk is available and people are consuming it a lot. But the question is this truly a health food? Because of the what journey I went through, I was very shocked uh, that milk can be bad. What's wrong with milk? And then of course I studied a lot and figured out that it is really not our food. But just saying that is not enough. I have to show them the various uh, evidence-based nutrition data, which is what we are doing for last so many years, and why it is not health food. And but here we'll have to answer in many different ways, not just only data. So this is of course the very famous poster that we use, that it has pus cells and blood and all. So I don't want to go over it into much. There is IGF, and there's uh, hormones are given, and so many diseases are connected. Casein is there, growth hormone. There is also that calcium is not utilized properly in the body. And there's lactose, which is, many people are now, 70% of our Asian population is known to be lactose intolerant. Then there is saturated fat, which is going to increase your inflammation and also uh, have extra weight. LDL always rises if you have saturated fat. I'll tell you more about all this, but just quickly, I want to show this various studies across the globe that we refer to. This one is by PCRM, published, saying that saturated fat is the one which is going to, push you towards getting heart disease. And also there is increased risk of breast, ovarian, and prostate cancers. Of course, also type 2 diabetes, and now recently Alzheimer disease also they are talking about. Then they are routinely given antibiotics, because you heard Manjushri talking about mastitis, and percentage was very high, 92%, which is very shocking, because we didn't expect this. With the government data will just say anything like 30, 40, 50, some number, but here it was much, much higher. That means they are given antibiotics very routinely, because the adults are inflamed and the blood is coming out. So as a maintenance. And now antibiotic resistance is a major issue, and resurgence of certain diseases which are very difficult to treat, which is a very big challenge to medical doctors. Now, of course, buffalo milk is also there. So it's not just cow milk anymore. Buffalo was considered to be a lazy animal, and we didn't drink the milk of a buffalo. But now, because the fat level is much higher, they are uh, quite a huge quantity of milk really comes from the buffaloes. And even the cow is not cow anymore. The original deshi cow, we call it as Indian cow. You can see the one on the left is a deshi cow with a little hump on her back, and the other one is a Jersey cow. And now there are hybrids, and the Jersey gives a lot of milk, like it's profitable for farmers. So now we have, unfortunately, too many of these cows, where A1 and A2, these two issues are coming. A2 is supposed to be our Indian cow, and A1 the Jersey. Now, there are a lot of people who believe that maybe they are not going to have A1 milk, but they'll have A2 milk because that's our traditional. That's what our ancestors had, and that's why they were very healthy. And so that milk is also getting marketed. But there's a doctor in India, in North India, who is a endocrinologist, and he comes from the region Punjab, Haryana, that region, and there the milk consumption is very high. And he observed, because he helped too many people reverse their diabetes, he observed that A1 or A2 doesn't matter. You just don't need milk. So he's very clear about it, and he's talking that both the milk are not required, not even a deshi cow. Then here these so many autoimmune diseases are now getting linked with the A1 milk. So these are all new data that is coming out. So anyway, both the kinds are not good. Now, pus cells we talked about already, and the blood in the milk. Then there is growth hormone also. There are hormones coming from her own body, which is natural, like estrogen. If she's pregnant, then estrogen is very high. So she's lactating and pregnant at the same time, and the hormones are very high when she's pregnant. But you don't know which milk is coming from which cow, whether she was pregnant or not pregnant. But then she's kept not pregnant only for 3 months. Again, she's made pregnant because the production line must continue. So most of the time, you assume that it is pregnant cow only, and then very high levels of hormones coming, and this is a reason of early puberty. And milk is expensive for common men. It's about 100 rupee, but it's still expensive. So anything that is expensive is getting adulterated, or even there is a total parallel market of artificial milk. So there is no cow or buffalo, but the milk is produced from some ingredients, or milk products are produced, and they use all kinds of things. We don't know what they are, like urea and soda and oil, cheap oil, and somehow they make something that looks like milk, and that's very very bad for health. So now they call it as analog cheese, analog butter, analog paneer, which is a cottage cheese. All this is available very cheap, and the hotels, restaurants, they are all buying it, and people are consuming it. That's another hazard altogether. I talked about lactose intolerance. We have about 70% of our population already lactose intolerant. And they cannot digest milk, but they don't know. Many of them will think, okay, I can take curd, but I can't take milk. So all those different experiences are also there. But giving up dairy will really help. Pediatricians have observed, and now quite a few pediatricians have understood that small babies, if they get ear infection, cough, then they stop dairy products because they know it is the dairy allergy. But I also have some doubt about the BCG vaccination that is given right at birth, which doesn't even protect children for tuberculosis in a very solid way. Nothing can also be causing this kind of conditions, dairy allergy in children much earlier. And also, there is cow milk. If it is very early introduced to an infant less than 1 year, then type 1 diabetes, it is known, can happen in such children. There are also all these diseases which are transmitted by milk: typhoid, diphtheria, scarlet fever, dysentery, polio also. So that is another major issue, because the milk, you don't know what is coming inside and how long it has traveled. And then British Medical Journal talks about the fracture risk. They mentioned that um, more you consume dairy, there is higher risk of fractures. So this is quite opposite to the concept. We thought that you drink milk, you get calcium, and then you'll be protected. But that's not. It's exactly opposite. Your bones become weaker, and you are prone. And that's exactly what we are observing now. My grandmother never took any calcium, and her bones were fine. But my mother's generation onwards, all the osteoporosis started, and now my generation as well. Quite, I just see too many patients, too many women. Then milk protein is casein. Casein, of course, is a known carcinogen. Dr. Campbell has already talked about it in his book, China Study. So this is very, very important. The original research came out from India, R. Gopal, and they talked about more the protein, more the chance of cancer. And it was casein also was one carcinogen identified. Then I mentioned about the estrogens very high and early puberty, and 20 times higher estrogens in pregnant cow. So this is going to disturb your endocrine system very quickly. PCOD is one of the disease that we see in young women. Then infertility is another major problem. Then IGF-1, this is naturally found in the milk itself. Now this also has the link with the cancer, breast cancer, and now we are seeing more and more cases of breast cancer in this country. We come from a country where for an entire decade people did not get enough food to eat, and now it is opposite. We have plenty of food available and we are consuming it quite a lot. And we did not consume dairy so much even before when, but now we are, because it's available in all kinds of packaging and products and refrigeration. And in our memory, milk is must. If you don't drink milk, how will you grow up? uh, if you don't drink milk, you will die. All these kind of concepts. Oh, because of milk only I become strong. So they're consuming a lot, and that's why we are seeing so many lifestyle related diseases and cancers are on the rise. uh, so higher the dairy intake, here they talk about how breast cancer. So now the most interesting thing is that breast cancer is seen on in lacto vegetarian and also the non vegetarians both. They both kinds. So that means there is a link with dairy in this. Otherwise, fasting, very clean diet, but dairy, one thing they have not given up. And so I see in my Jain population also, in spite of a lot of other things that they follow, breast cancer is on the rise. Then prostate cancer. There's a link very clearly established, very clear, that the higher the incidence, and again that is also happening here in lacto vegetarian. Because the thing is that if you don't take non-veg, yeah, I will not take meat or eggs, somehow the milk is replacing that craving. So you tend to have more dairy products, so you are just substituting. It's just, sometimes I say that milk has white color, but if what it was red color then we wouldn't have taken. But it's almost addicting. Also now autism, and we find that if they give up dairy products, so they do dairy free, casein free we call it as, and gluten free diet, many of them tremendously improve, because I think their gut microbiome also improves a lot when they give up dairy products. Then psoriasis and dairy, again very beautiful cases. We have a dermatologist here who is plant based and talks about it a lot. Other, as I mentioned, acne and infertility in male, constipations because milk has no fiber, hyperacidity, migraine, all these are also uh, happening, direct link with the dairy products. Then GERD, again, the acidity, the antacids are one of the most prescribed drugs in the world, over the counter and otherwise, and people are taking them for years and years and years. And as soon as 1 month of no dairy, the GERD symptoms completely get ameliorated. Then ulcerative colitis, of course, you figure out very soon, within 4 to 6 weeks, the lining of your gut starts improving because anti-inflammatory. Then of course cholesterol. Animal products only have cholesterol in it because only an animal's body produces cholesterol. Certainly there is cholesterol in milk, and so same lacto vegetarians do have high LDL cholesterol, which is again going to have bad effect for your heart. And all these dairy products, you have curd or you have 1%, or everything has some cholesterol in it. Cheese has the highest. Then saturated fat and heart disease, PCRM study says that cheese is especially dangerous because it is so much of saturated fat. Brain development, this is another one where, see, there is a fatty, unsaturated fatty acids in human milk, which is very good for the brain development. Now, this animal milk has less amount of fatty acids because obviously they don't need to develop their brain so much as human brain. So there is a difference. It just actually doesn't supply what you need. Then autoimmune disorders are, of course, so many of them: multiple sclerosis, type 1 diabetes, I already mentioned. Um, just yesterday, I had one 29-year-old boy, 10 years diabetes. It is type 1 diabetes. He has tried everything. His blood sugars are very high. And we were sitting and discussing how we can do something better. And he's already given up dairy now. So, very strong link. Sarcoidosis, wonderful results. It's a lung disease, but as you give up the dairy products, you see complete amelioration in this condition. The website that we always tell everybody to refer to and check out everything is, of course, nutritionfacts.org, that keeps, uploading this various data that is extremely useful to us. The youngsters, the teenagers are very addicted to cheese. When I was young, we just got only one kind of cheese, and we didn't like the taste, and maybe once in 6 months for something. We didn't know how to use it also. And now the 30, 40, 50 kinds of cheese available in the market. With the cell phone, you can order, sit at home and eat, and there's a lot of fake cheese available in the market. And so young teenagers get acne or also PCOS, because I immediately, only if they are not ready for everything, I just say, okay, just give up your cheese. And that's so difficult for them. Oh, are you sure? Can I have it once in a month? I said, just do it for 2 or 3 months. We'll see. I'll let you have it later. But right now, you don't. And then slowly the journey starts. The dramatic change in their health inspires them to go ahead. Curd is another obsession in India. We think it is very healthy for your gut, it has healthy bacteria, but the raw material is the same. It still has the antibiotics and the hormones, and it's really not our food. So we inspire them to go on a plant-based curd and have the same probiotics. So there are other methods that you can use. So there is absolutely no need to have curd also. Then ghee, as I had mentioned earlier, that ghee is 50% saturated fat. There is absolutely no fiber. It is highly processed food, and the data says that it can raise LDL cholesterol, which is going to work adversely on your heart and stroke. Then, from Ayurveda point of view, just wanted to mention, because we in our country, Ayurveda is very much respected. Homeopathy, Ayurveda, and allopathy, and Siddha system, and we have one more, Unani, and of course yoga. All of these are going always together. So Ayurveda is our ancient system, and there, let me tell you very clearly, I did a lot of research and I found out all the references, even from Ayurveda, saying when you should take milk, when you should not take, what should be the condition of the cow. Everything is very clearly written, and if you follow those instructions, then none of the milk that is produced at this hour in India is good for us at all. We cannot take, it's no more sattvi. So here, just one from Manusmriti. It is one of our scripture. This is the line that I have taken. There are many more I have references, but just today I just want to mention one. The milk of a cow which has not passed 10 days since calving, means giving birth. Likewise, the milk of one hoofed animals, of camel and of sheep, the milk of a cow in heat, or milk of a cow whose calf is lost, which is happening in the half the cases because male cows are already done away with, and the milk of an irregular cow, the cow who's not healthy, or doesn't have all the organs in good condition. All these milks are to be avoided. So it's just one mention what is suitable, what is not suitable. There's a very clear cut guidelines, and even it is only to be used as a medicine, not as a daily food, only when necessary. There's so many other things are written about a very gentle way of accepting it from the cow. So that is there, but nothing is followed at the moment, and there is no ahimsa way of getting the milk from a cow. Now, the biggest myth here in India is calcium. Oh, where will I get my calcium from? So they all listen to me quietly, and then one woman will get up from the audience and say, "Oh, but my doctor says I must have 2 glasses of milk every day for my strong bones." So I have to convince them what is your calcium requirement every time. This is the book that I have written, What About My Calcium? Because I got so tired. I said, these fellows will not give up milk unless I tell them that where does a cow or a buffalo get milk, get the calcium from the grass, so from the plant based. So you can get enough calcium from the plant based sources, but they won't listen. So I had to write a book and finally give a complete sources and a lot of recipes and show them that you get enough calcium from plant based sources, and you don't need dairy is a secondary source. Then I wrote some books. It's called as Dairy Alternatives. It's available in 3 languages. It has been about 10 years that I wrote these books, and it's been exactly the same. Thousands of copies are given away, and I also circulate free PDF copies of this because I want the message to reach. It's written for our Indian population because we love dairy, we love curd, we love our milkshakes and ice creams and our ghee and our butter. So I said, here are all the simple, easy, healthy replacements. Please implement them. Simple, cheap, okay, not expensive, at home. And here I've just given a quick note of how you can get more calcium from tofu or soy yogurt, and also from oats, or we have sesame seeds. So it's just our daily what we eat in our kitchen. All these things are available. Sesame seed laddu, or we have also chana, we call it as red chana, or smoothies, which is greens, almonds. Nachni is one of the big one. So there's enough of calcium. I can go on this for a long time. This is just a little summary saying that finally, the harsh reality is this: there is saturated fat, there are hormones, and there is systemic inflammation, which is going to damage many parts of your body over a long period of time. Here also your gut microbiome is going to get affected because dairy products has no fiber in it. And there are so many other things that finally happen because your gut has the brain link. And so you will have some other issues even at the mental level. Um, so finally, the sacred narrative is this, that, oh, the cow, the holy mother, her milk is very good for us, and we respect her and we do her puja. And earlier, of course, they used to keep her for life, and she was like a member of the family. And now it's exactly different. Cow is no more like one dear one grazing and free and things like that. It's a industry. They are properly kept, nurtured only for their products. Nowadays, India is also exporting cow dung to Middle East countries to fertilize the soil over there, and urine products, and also the dairy products. So, in our mind, we think we are the most ahimsa practicing country in the world, but we are actually consuming the products of himsa, and it's really hypocrisy, I think, at the moment. But now slowly we are bridging the gap, and we are making them realize. We are making them to go and visit a goshala. We call it as the cows, where they are kept, how they are kept. We give them 5 basic questions to ask, and then they realize that they are becoming the party to the terrible violence. The mother and calf separated, the male calf is sent to the slaughterhouse. Very, very sad state of affair. So, obviously, this is not ahimsa at all in our daily living, it is hinsa. So what we are not going to tell people that you don't do this and don't do that. We are going to show them that you can do everything properly exactly the same way, but just go for a plant-based options. Then your tradition will continue. You can also do the puja. There are some temples which are now using vegan ghee. So it's amazing to see that they are slowly taking steps. There are other some spiritual teachers now we are consulting and helping them to go vegan. There are few spiritual teachers who are already vegan, which is a great thing, and some more are understanding and are walking this path. And because of them, many more are getting inspired. It's a journey, it takes time, not easy. I'm a medical doctor. I have to talk to so many different kinds of medical establishments to convince them to start. And it's getting better though than before, but will take time because you can't take milk and milk products out of an Indian's mind, it's, or heart, no matter wherever is in the world. If everything goes little bit of ghee, 2 drops of ghee, or little bit of 2 spoon of curd, something like that continues. So, finally, as I said, we don't need to have a new policy or anything like that. All that before all the white revolution happened, our ancestors did not consume so much of dairy products. They lived in the harmony with nature. The animal was completely like a member of the family, honored, respected, and milk was never sold or no money was ever made, and was just sparingly used for occasion, sometimes nothing much. And most of the population was more plant based. We need to go back and remember. We need to um, remember our own Ahimsa as the foundation of this country. See, one simple thing, that India as a country, why is so known for Ahimsa? Because this country has never gone and attacked any other country. We do protection, we look after ourselves, but we are never violent to go and attack or destroy anybody else. We believe in living peacefully. So it's still there in our consciousness at the moment, and we need to just go back to it and practice it. um, but the mistake is dairy. So you got to choose whether what you want to do. You want to give up your habits, what the media tells you to take, or the marketing industry tells you take, or your textbooks are showing a glass of milk with calcium. All these things are there. You'll have to re-question, ask again, try, experiment, and then take informed decision. So finally, ahimsa is a daily choice on our plate, from meal to meal. Meal to meal. If you can't do it all at once, I always say that let's do it in stages. First month, give up this, then stabilize, then this, whichever way. But the results are amazing. It's a journey. It does not necessarily happen overnight. There are some beautiful books written. This I just picked up from internet. I haven't seen it myself. There are lots of wonderful books because we have the largest collection of proper plant-based recipes in the world. Thousands of them. You can't be missing them because 70% of our platter is still 70 to 80% is plant-based, and only you need to do 20% change. So and very tasty, very properly made, uh, from ayurvedic point of view. Also, we also use spices, and so you don't miss. Actually, after a while you realize this tastes much better than the other one. It's less, it's lighter on your stomach, easy to digest. And so last 17 years, so many different kinds of Indian cuisine, South India, North India, everything is now veganized beautifully and tastes so much better. So the choices are many, so you're not going to miss anything. Finally, I produced this documentary film. It's called as Rethink Milk. Here we have taken interviews of many doctors, and talking about vegan pregnancies, vegan children. We are talking about infertility issues, and we're also talking about all these various testimonials, and doctors are talking in this film, and we are also giving the research link. So this film has received very good response, and many people have started their journey, and are inspiring others. Post this, I also produce another one called as Reversing Diabetes, which is helping people to reverse their diabetes. Lacto-vegetarians give up dairy products, and those who are eating non-veg, they also give up, and then they start their journey of reversing. The most beautiful moment for me every morning is checking my WhatsApp for fasting blood sugars of so many of my patients. They send me every day, and then they send that blood sugar reports every day to me, and the sugars are dropping, and that's where I'm living it every single day. I see the magic happening. It is super, because I have to just tell them, oh, reduce your medicine, reduce your insulin. And uh, when they come to meet me, or they are shocked. 25 years diabetes, nobody told me that I must give up dairy products, and in just like 25 days my medication is gone. And why my doctor never told me this? Why my doctor only prescribed medicine? I said, now we have a here. Last 3 years I have conducted many events only for doctors. I'm a part of an organization called as Pan India, where we only train medical doctors. We do events for 100, 200, 300 doctors. We train them for a whole day about plant-based diet and its benefit, which is fantastic. They are getting, many of them are joining now, because we show them the data. It's the scene is changing, it's getting better. So it's absolutely worth it. Ahimsa on your plate. Simple. You change the mistakes, and you are blessed. Your body within no time shows you the result, and that is very satisfying. I did have a problem for 15 years almost. I kept promoting vegan, and I did lots of festivals, events, bazaars, potlucks. So much I did. Then I realized, why are people not listening? Then I said, okay, let's catch doctors. They will listen to doctors. Let me get 50, 100 doctors together who are plant based, and they will listen to them. So what happened actually now in last 3 years, we have about 100 plant-based doctors in India now, and many are plant forward, which is very important. And all my films only show Indian doctors. No doctors are Indian origin. They have to be Indian looking, so that people understand and connect. And they don't think it's a foreign concept or it has come from somewhere else. And we try to show Indian testimonials, Indian platter, Indian food. How do I get them to give up dairy products, to realize that it's not sattvic anymore? You make a list of sattvic food, all plant-based foods. If they are beautifully made, not too much of spices, not too much of oil or fried, it's already sattvic. That's the one you should be aligned to. Get the dairy products out of that list.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shah. And we only have a little less than 10 minutes for questions. We're going to end up having two guest speakers next. So I see Dolly has her hand up, and then Uzi. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Dr. Rupa Shah, thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation. And I met Dr. Rupa Shah in India. She's helped with the Land of Ahimsa. She is in the movie The Land of Ahimsa. She inspires India, inspires so many people. This was a great presentation. And thank you, Dr. Rupa Shah. You're my hero, and I love you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I see that we have Sai and Uzi. Is it Utsi? Utsi?
It was great to hear all those great presentation and studies, and I'm very grateful to hear all these things. All the spiritual teachers, the great masters came from India, we know. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, we have this time now. Monks would say, like, why would you have opponent ideas on milk? Because, for example, in Mongolia, it's very difficult to persuade people that milk is now have developed in different level. So
Correct.
because of industrialization, because of these technologies, the dairy industry went wrong, right? So we sometimes tell people that the time is changed, and it's the time that turning the wheel, the Dharma wheel. Yeah. So all those our previous spiritual teachings were perfect at that time, but we still have those teachings in our time, but the time is really has changed in our time. Even our milk in Tetra Pak packaging,
True.
they are imported from New Zealand or different countries where there's intensive farming but they went by intensive farming. So it's not now even more our nomadic milk right now. For nomads, it's very difficult to persuade them because the milk is not taken. They not separate calves and mothers. They still care those calves very carefully and lovingly. So it is sometimes it's difficult, but right now in Mongolia the health problem went very big problem because of milk. The lactose tolerant children went, the number of lactose intolerant, right?
Intolerant.
Children number went so high that people are starting to be aware of that thing. So I just wanted to reshare your ideas, plus what we raise awareness on milk issue. We say that it's the time is different, the technology is developed, the industrialization went crazy, and now the companies go for profit, and that's why our health and environment is so down now. So it's that time of turning the Dharma wheel time. So we say that. Well, thank you
True.
so
Yeah,
much, Rupa
people
Shah.
will only listen to the health, because health is
Yeah,
going to
that's the
benefit
thing.
you. They are
That's
not worried about cruelty to animals. They don't want to see. They'll put the curtain. But I say your diabetes will get better. Then they
yes.
listen.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see Sai has his hand up.
Uh, Hi, Dr. Rupa. Thank you for
Hello,
the
namaste.
comprehensive, Namaste. Thank you for the comprehensive presentation, both in terms of spirituality and medical issues. Uh, so I had this notion that from in the West, since they consume the standard American, the sad diet, which has animal products in every single meal, when they go vegan, which is having animal heavy food, and then they go vegan, they see a huge health benefit. But I'm wondering, since we consume, I mean, in India, lacto-vegetarians, we consume only curd and coffee daily, in the South. So is that the reason why we don't see such a huge health improvement when we go vegan from lacto-vegetarian is one question. Another question is dairy linked to low lung function, like and thyroid?
Yes, yes. So, no. There are households that consume quite a bit of dairy.
Yeah.
The It depends on how your body is. If you've taken it for a very long time and you have
Hmm.
disease, you have higher cholesterol and all that, you will see a dramatic drop in the numbers also, blood reports. But say youngsters like you may not have anything at the moment seen or disease, but it's building up. Even a heart attack doesn't happen overnight. From the age of 10, 12, 14, the arteries start thickening, the cholesterol. You do not know. Right now, you have no problem. You gave up those products, maybe no change in your health, or maybe lost couple of kilo weight, only that much. So the results will vary from person to person depending on their age and how their bodies reacting to dairy products. And
Okay.
dairy products also have the lung issues, the fibrosis of the lung, which is autoimmune disorder. People find that there's some change in their health. And you also talked about something else, right? Thyroid.
Yeah.
Hypothyroid is definitely going to improve when you give up dairy products. Regular hypo and autoimmune also, both. We have already in Mumbai city, some of the patients have completely reversed their hypothyroidism by giving up dairy. I have a lot more data for lacto-vegetarians, because we are so many, lacto-vegetarian.
Yeah.
Their data is now getting collected and is available. And non America, obviously huge non-veg consumption, so their data is different. Ours is lot of dairy consumption, and then very little of meat. We don't, even those meat eaters who are eating meat are also not eating 3 times a day, right? They
Yes.
just eat once a week or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, and also a lot of
Uh,
processed meat,
right.
neatly packed.
Mm. Another quick thing. Do you know about Junnu? We call it in South in our language. It's baby calf's milk. You must be having over in your place. They have it baby calf milk. We call it Junnu. What do you have to say about that? About the violence behind that and the health impacts, anything in general?
Every damn thing that you take from a cow or buffalo's body is a violence, according to me. You should not look at
Of
any
course.
animal for any product ever.
Of
They are
course.
here for their purpose, their function. It's their life. And
True.
how are we looking at them for anything? The function of a cow is grazing. She loves grazing. Whole day she will graze, rest, digest, and she'll poo and she'll make the land fertile. She's one animal who returns wholeheartedly back to the land, and then
Mm.
she returns to that land after a few months. The land is so fertile, there's more grass, again she will graze. She loves to do that. Her calf should not be separated from her, and we
Yeah.
should not get her for anything, not even milk. She does fertile the land, so we need her for that, because we do organize agriculture. So we want,
Yes.
but even if you don't have her, there are other ways of making the land fertile, which is vegan
Yeah.
agriculture can teach. We don't need to do, because moment you will look at her, even for her cow dung, the commercialization will start. No,
True.
we don't.
True.
Plus,
Yeah.
no animal likes to be tied, or it's, they
Yeah.
have
Of
their
course.
life. They have their
Yeah.
own
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Let
I'm
them graze.
vegan. Just I was just curious to know what is that. So,
Yeah, it will
yeah.
take time. Our country, they are doing
Yeah. Yeah.
goshalas and all. They're talking about ahimsa milk all the time. They're talking about
Yeah.
A2.
Yeah.
I know, but it will take
Mm.
time to change.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
I wondered if this could be the last question and we could keep it within 2 minutes, because I see that Captain Paul Watson has arrived, so we've squeezed him into Fern's space. So we would like to get wrapped up within about a minute. And Ray and Toby, if you could put your questions in the chat, Dr. Rupa can answer them. Thank you. Go ahead, Nancy.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear the doctors are affected. I hosted a Indian doctor, and she screamed at the top of her lungs, "Enough, Nancy, about the dairy." Also, I was fascinated by the fact that infertility is caused by dairy, because when I nursed my baby, what happens is you no longer menstruate. You won't get pregnant. So it's natural child spacing. So that connection made a lot of sense to me. And also the connection between encouraging women to nurse their babies. This I do all the time. "Oh, you're pregnant? Did you know about how wonderful it is to nurse your baby?" So that way people can also, mammals, nurse their own babies. So thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
In the early morning quiet, when the fields are breathing slow, there's a mother calling softly for the child she came to know. We took her milk, we took her baby, called it custom, called it need. But the earth remembers every bond we break to feed our greed. Bring the cows back to their mothers, bring the milk back to the young. Let no baby son. Bring them home to their mothers. Let their bodies tell the truth. What was made for loving was never ours to use. She knows him by his breathing, by the sound beneath his cry, by the way the dawn is shining in his dark and liquid eyes. This is more than instinct speaking, more than nature's simple way. This is a love that crosses species, older than the word away. Bring the cows back to their mothers. Let the circle still be whole. What is taken breaks the planet. What is love restores the soul. Bring them home to their mothers. Let compassion be our guide. Every child beside their mother, every mother with her child. I have walked where moose give birth, where the cows lay down to calve. Placenta on the forest floor, a boundary sacred, raw and vast. I did not belong inside that circle, and she let me know it true. She ushered me back from the forest, from her home, where she belonged, not you. Bring the cows back to their mothers. Honor where the birth blood lies. There are laws older than markets, written in the mother's eyes.
This last year, the krill fishery took 650,000 metric tons out of the Southern Ocean. And this is literally taking the food out of the mouths of whales and penguins, seabirds and seals. These species are being severely impacted by the greed of the krill fishery.
And out beyond the breaking waves, where the great blue mothers roam, there are calves beneath the surface, learning oceans as their home. We reach deep for tiny bodies, scoop the krill from living seas. But that food was made for mothers and the young they hold and feed. Leave the krill for ocean mothers, leave the seas to feed their young. Let the whales and gentle giants raise their babies strong and sound. Bring them home to their mothers, land and ocean, hoof and fin. When we stop what's not ours to take, the healing can begin. We are waking from a long divided dream, where we fed on domination, then called violence routine. Now a wider love is moving through our hands and what we choose. Every meal a sacred promise that no mother has to lose. Beloved, stand beside me with your feet upon the ground. Let our lives be living answers, let protection make it sound. This is how the world turns gentle, this is how the old ways end. When we choose the mother-child bond again and again and again. Bring the cows back to their mothers, let the mothers keep their.
It's a tiny bit less than 80 acres. I have Jersey cows, Holstein cows, a yak.
She estimates she's rescued about 158 cows.
And most cows don't get to live like this. It makes me happy.
Tack Writer says she got to know cows working at a dairy farm in 1976.
The cows were just wonderful, and when they stopped making milk, they got slaughtered.
She decided to create the sanctuary after tragedy struck.
Huge storm, and I found all these dead cows in the field. The first cows I had were the 6 babies that survived the lightning storm.
She wrote a children's book about that experience, with proceeds benefiting the nonprofit, which she runs herself.
We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby. Even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable,